this video will be over the ethics in Spirited Away. Spirited Away is a Japanese animation film by Studio Ghibli, a well-known studio for children's movies. 10-year-old Chihiro, who is also later known as Sen, and her parents are on their way to move into their new home when they get lost and arrive at what seems to be an abandoned amusement park. Her parents decide to go explore inside, even though Chihiro warns against it from the scary appearance of the amusement park. As they explore the park, her parents stumble upon some unattended food and are turned into pigs because of eating it. It turns out that the amusement park is actually a resort for spirits in the spirit world, and she becomes stuck in the spirit world to work in a bathhouse in order to try and return her parents back to normal. Chihiro has a mainly teleology sort of ethics. She focuses on the result of her actions that she does. Within that, she's very centered on natural law, as she believes that the actions that she takes, such as her inherent respect for elders, her constant saying of "excuse me" in any situation, even when in a rush, are things that should just be obvious to her. She also has a hint of hedonism, which is mainly prevalent in the beginning of the story when she's not quite as mature, in the sense that she really only wants to get her parents back to normal and return to the real world. But as she becomes more mature, that notion begins to dwindle, and she's instead more directed towards the issues of the spirit world, such as when No-Face was ravaging upon the bathhouse. Haku, the 16-year-old boy and dragon of the spirit world, works for the witch who runs the bathhouse and carries out her dirty deeds. But despite this, he goes out of his way to help Chihiro in her efforts to get her parents back to normal, as well as others in the bathhouse, making him a very altruistic. No-Face, a voiceless, melancholy spirit, initially spends his efforts trying to get attention from the bathhouse workers by giving them gold, but really just wants Sen or Chihiro's acceptance of his gold, which she ends up denying. This angers him and sets him off, as he was not able to attain what he wanted, but he eventually calms and ends up helping Chihiro in her goal. He represents a change in ethics from intense hedonism to utilitarianism. In one situation, Chihiro needed to clean out an incredibly dirty bathtub, which was impossible to do by hand. She tried to request a token for a herbal soak, which would clean the bath much easier, but the spirit in charge of the tokens denied her request, since she was a human and spirits tended to dislike humans. But No-Face appears in the back, hearing her request, and while the spirit was distracted, No-Face stole a token from him and gave it to Chihiro. In this situation, when focused on from a virtue standpoint, it was a wrong action, as No-Face was not considered a spirit with good morals. Even from a deontology standpoint, it was wrong, as stealing is almost universally considered a wrong action. But when considered from a teleology standpoint, it was the correct move by No-Face, as it not only allowed for her to complete her job much easier, it also reduced the workload on the bathhouse and even boosted Chihiro's opinion of No-Face. When viewed overall, the spirit was just being petty and his reasons for denying were not justified. So while the action was theft, it was in good intention as well as for a hedonistic intention for No-Face. So the knowledge question I ended up arriving at was this: to what extent should we limit ourselves from committing actions commonly labeled as wrong when the outcome is just or the defense for not committing such actions is unjustified?